75 years. That is a long time to live on this earth. And for 40 of those years, Mr. Arthur stood at the front of a classroom. He didn't have a sprawling estate. He didn't have a luxury car. He had a small suitcase and a quiet heart. Throughout his career, Mr. Arthur never saved much for himself. When a student couldn't afford a warm coat in the winter, Arthur bought one. When a child sat with an empty stomach during lunch, Arthur shared his meal. He planted seeds of kindness quietly, without ever asking for a harvest. But time is a relentless river. Now, at 75, his heart was failing. He needed a life-saving surgery, a surgery his modest pension could never cover. The hospital administration, polite but firm, informed him that by noon he would be transferred to a lower-tier, state-run facility, a place for those forgotten by the world. Did he rage against the unfairness of it all? No. Men of quiet strength do not shout at the storm. They simply adjust their sails. He picked up his bag. He held his head high. He believed, as many of us sometimes do, that his life had been a whisper, that his sacrifices had dissolved into the wind, that he was leaving this world entirely alone. As he stepped into the hallway, the sterile silence of the hospital broke. Walking toward him was not the orderly coming to take him away. It was a group of people, 10, 20, perhaps 50 men and women, dressed in sharp suits, white medical coats, and neat uniforms. They lined the walls of the corridor, standing in absolute reverent silence. The chief of surgery stepped forward. He didn't look at Arthur as a patient. He looked at him with the eyes of a child. "Mr. Arthur," the surgeon spoke, his voice thick with emotion. 30 years ago, you noticed a boy with holes in his shoes. You bought him a new pair and told him to walk proudly toward his future." The surgeon placed a gentle hand on Arthur's frail shoulder. "I have walked proudly every day since, sir." Behind him stood a prominent federal judge. "You paid for my college application fee when my father laughed at my dreams," she whispered. Next to her, the CEO of an engineering firm. "You stayed 3 hours after school every day to teach me math, when everyone else gave up on me." Arthur's trembling hands held onto his small suitcase. What are you all doing here?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. The chief surgeon gently took the suitcase from Arthur's hand. "We heard you were leaving, sir, and we couldn't allow that." The surgeon gestured down the hall toward the VIP wing. "Your bill has been paid in full by every single person in this hallway." The surgeon smiled, a tear finally falling. "In fact, sir, the new pediatric wing of this hospital is being named in your honor." Arthur had believed he was poor. He believed he had nothing to his name. But true wealth doesn't sit in a bank account. True wealth is the legacy you leave in the hearts of others. The seeds of kindness may take decades to grow, but when the harvest comes, it is eternal.